Okay, are we live? What is up, guys? Andrew here, and welcome to Comicbooker, all things comics from a creator. So today, I don't know if you can see it all that well, but I think you can. I think it looks good. Okay, let's see. I think, okay, so last time we did this stream, we had problems with autofocusing, so hopefully we don't this time. Um, Give me a sec. Let's see if I can grab something. To make it a little darker so that hopefully it looks better on camera. Yeah, I think that's better. Yep. Okay, good. Good. All right. So, update on the graphic novel that I'm working on. I am about halfway through. I mean, I'm definitely over a third of the way through. So I'm on page 22. And the reason I'm not sure is because the page count has been fluctuating here and there. Not sure if I should add more pages here and there since I want to make the deadline. I want to be done by August so that I can send it to the printers and have it back in time for Comic-Con. So yeah, I gotta manage my excitement to like make it like as long as I could possibly want. But anyway, so I think the last time I did a stream, I was working on these pages, and now they're fully colored. So this is oh, I forget the page. Page 17. This is page 18. Page 19. And what's happening here is he's met this character who, whoops, is it focused? I don't know if that focuses well. He's met this character who's like basically something he created, and it comes out and it attacks him. And then he's going through these like hallucination flashback things, or actually they're flash forwards. It's confusing. And here is the completed page 20. Lots of work went into this, but I'm really happy with the effect because I think it gets it down. Yo, what's up, Silver Phantom? Welcome, welcome. And page 21, as we see some sort of thing going on in the sky over there. And now we're on page 22, and this is the splash page where I introduce all these characters. Basically, the whole 20 pages before had been building up to this moment where we meet superheroes, because I gotta have superheroes in my book. I love superheroes. I know it's like this is sort of like an indie semi-autobiographical graphic novel, but I love superheroes, so I gotta have superheroes in here. So anyway, these all have stories. I won't talk about him so much because he's kind of like central to the thing. Oh, give me a sec. Let me see if I can. It seems to be autofocusing again, so I'm gonna mess with the camera so it stops doing that. Configure video. Boom. Camera control. Oh, there we go. Autofocus off. Apply. Okay. Okay, so hopefully it doesn't autofocus anymore. Good. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So this guy I won't talk about so much. He's central to the whole thing. This lady is, her name is Dakila, and gosh, if you guys know Philippine superheroes, she is my version of the greatest Filipino superhero, Darna. Her name's Dakila. She's possessed by the spirit of the Philippines. She's got like Promethea vibes or Wonder Woman vibes. She's super cool. This is the first superhero I ever made when I was in high school. His name is Germinator. Well, he's not the first I ever made, but he's the first I ever published. he's a dude who's made of germs. So that's my juvenile mind going there for you. Some of these other characters are from another book I'm working on called Para Classic, but it's not yet ready. And then this lady over here who I'm currently drawing, she is a. Whew. So this is my first book, right? This is called. Oh man, let me change the light so it looks better. This is my first book, Kare Kare Comics, right? See that lady over there? This is her. And in this book, she goes through a whole saga where she inherits like she's a nun. It's a story of a nun. I have like 2 or 3 of these. She goes through a whole story arc inside this comic, where she ends up being swept up into this sort of like metafictional war, and she gets caught up with these guys, and at the end of it, there's this crisis in the kingdom of color, where she appears there with the dude, and then they go through a lot of crazy wild stuff, but in the end she's a big hero, and her name's Marca Pina. But I figured, because I leave the story off with the 3 characters going out there as story hunters. I figured I would pick up her story like years after, because it's been years since that book. That book came out in like I think 2015. So yeah, I wanted to sort of have a little bit of a shout out for her. Silver Phantom LX is asking, where can I buy it? So you can only buy in the Philippines right now, because I had a deal with local publisher Adarna House or Anina Comics, but I am working to get it released, if not internationally, then at least in the US. I don't know if you're in the US, Silver Phantom, but if you are, hopefully maybe by this year. I have a laundry list of things I want to get done for Comic-Con. One of them is maybe like a limited run reprint of that book. But we'll see what I can manage, because I need to, well, apart from being able to having the bandwidth to prep a new version of a book on top of this graphic novel, I also not sure if I can afford the printing costs, because that stuff expensive. So we'll see. I will obviously let y'all know here as I figure things out. Anyway, so this is Marca, and I'm giving her a new name, like a superhero name, and so she's called the Imaginun. Which I think is like delightfully dumb. Imaginun. That's her name. And then I'll talk about the other guys as I work on them. So give me a sec. Let me see if I can just finish her. I figured she'd have this like rosary belt thing going on here. There are all these padres in the Philippines in the 1500s who had, I'm not sure how accurate the pictures I saw were, but they had these like braided super long crosses, so I want to use that because she's from a convent. She's from a universe where we have kind of like a Downton Abbey style romance, because she's a nun, she's married to God, but she falls in love with a soldier, but she can't, and it's all of that stuff. And then the what happens in the story is, the integrity of that story gets completely destroyed because, as I mentioned, there was this like universal crisis, right? So the genre changed, and suddenly there were these robot aliens that these robot aliens that attacked her world and basically killed everyone because they're like unfair super sci-fi creatures, and she's just a little old romance character. So anyway, she's the only survivor of that whole debacle, and I wanted to evolve her for the future and give her a cool superhero name because initially I had this convention of all the major characters in that book. It's called Kare Kare Comics. Um, they were actually named for Filipino condiments. So the lead guy, this dude, his name is Mang Tomas, and that's a Filipino sort of gravy sarsa type sauce that you put on meat. And then this guy here, his name is Datu Puti, and that's a vinegar brand in the Philippines, and Marca Pina is a soy sauce brand. So anyway, it worked for that because it was like a dumb little story. But I figured if I'm gonna give her legs beyond that story, I need to give her a proper dumb name, like super fun, naive superhero name that is delightfully weird and strange, and so Imaginon, that's her name. Anyway, how are you all doing? Let me know in the chat. Looks like there's a bunch of people watching today. That's great. I hope you're all drawing this lovely Sunday. I found it so frustrating yesterday because I had so many chores to get done. Like laundry and like household stuff, cleaning the bathroom, super boring stuff, that I didn't actually get to focus much on working on this book, so I'm happy I get to do that today. If I could just draw constantly without doing anything else. That's the eternal struggle. Oh, by the way, small note, guys. So I don't know if you remember, people who've been following me here probably know this, but um, uh, a couple of months ago, maybe like less than 2 months ago, right? My Instagram account, Andrew Drelon, got hacked. And then there was this whole drama thing where I couldn't get it back, and was trying to get to people to report the hacker, and I reported the hacker, and it worked, and eventually I was able to get my account back. But it's been deactivated, basically. Basically, I've lost the account, which super sucks because it had like 5,000 followers on it, and a lot of memories on it, like stuff I'd posted since I think 2010, so like more than 10 years of stuff. But it was really sad to lose it. But I started a new one. It's called Andrew Drelon Art. So if you want, I only do these streams weekly. But if you want like more regular posts from me, please do follow me there. I'm way more active on Instagram. And I'm just trying to build up again. Silver Phantom says, want to draw but working right now. I sympathize, dude. So, this is the meta gun which she's using. I don't know if I want to Do I want to redo it? No, I probably shouldn't. Better keep it recognizable. So, okay, that's what I'll do. And it's fun because basically I get to do my own superhero crossover, which I love superhero crossovers. I love reading about them. They're so zany and off the charts, and I think they're like perfect. Some of them are like, perfect pop ballads that are overstuffed with plot and characters, and it's just super fun to watch and read. See all your favorite characters together. One of the first comics I read, and this is super relevant to the book because of that page I showed earlier, showing Crisis on Infinite Earths. One of the first comics I ever read was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and when I read it, this is like the first truly big DC crossover. When I first read it, I didn't even know who Superman was, or Batman, or Wonder Woman. I literally just picked it up and was like, who are all these colorful characters? And they were all dying. They were all like completely, like they were dealing with multiversal destruction, right? So that was my introduction to the superhero universe, and I kind of want to replicate that here in this graphic novel. I mean, I don't have the space and the breadth of I guess universal depth, narrative depth to go that all out, but I've made so many little characters over years for short stories that I think, I can come up with a team, a few characters who can serve as stand-ins for other superheroes, or they can serve that crossover role, right? Anyway, we're almost done with Imagine None. I should probably erase that before I forget. Boom. And let's give her some shoes. I don't even know. Maybe just normal shoes. So my read on her, my idea is that she's gone through like a ton of adventures since we last saw her, and she's maybe parted ways with the other two characters, the other two male characters that you see in the book, or maybe they died in some terrible story or got lost, but she's got their stuff. So she's got the meta gun, which was bequeathed to her in the novel, so that's fine. But she's also got the sword of Datu Puti, and that's what she's gonna be holding here. Let's see if I can make the hand do what I want. It's tricky too because it's a Filipino style of sword. It's called the Kris. No, it's not called the Kris. God, I forgot the name. But it's a cool sword. It's... Ooh, there we go. Okay, I think I can do that, right? And if I'm right, it's super simple. It's just like a curved sword with a really simple handle, but it's made of gold, so I gotta do that in coloring. Okay. Which I will get to very quickly as soon as I can finish this. Alright. Actually, this should be the outer line. This should be the inner line. So I'm trying to vary up my my line weights. It's probably not super visible at this stage, but still, I think, really important subconscious feature that influences how we see depth in the drawing. And you can help it along. It doesn't always have to be like super consistent. You can help it along with colors, because colors do a lot of work these days, obviously. But it's still good to get in the habit of like managing line weight to make things have a dimension. And that usually means you try to, you know, pop things forward with thicker line weights. And then details are thinner line weights. So you don't want them to compete with the contours. As human beings, mostly we try to summarize the stuff we see. So we tend to look in terms of outlines first rather than focus on details. If your outline's nice and clear, it's easier to process. And especially with an image that's complicated, I want to make sure it's easy to process. So, okay, that's good. I'm gonna try to not render too much more because I want to save some stuff for colors for her. There we go. Let's do this. I'm gonna give her a white background. Whoops. Okay, so I see her silhouette's a little broken. Let's fix that before we do anything else. Let's fix that a little bit. I'll try not to OCD too much. And there. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Clear. All right. So that's her. Should I jump into flats? Let's do one more character. I mean, this guy maybe. Let's go into flats, and then I'll jump around, right? That way I can show the various stages of the process. So, where was that? So this, let's color her up. I wanna refer to some of the stuff, because I did a comic about her before, but I don't remember what the colors were. So there it is. Images. Thank you, Google. Google always saves. So that's her. Great. Oh my God, 2014. That was like 18 years ago. Holy crap. I feel so old. Alright, let's leave this off to the side. And then just have that there as a reference. So I'm gonna try to get her flat colors as close as possible to the base color. I'm gonna do renders on top of it, but I just want to make sure. I'm doing a clipping mask first. We'll use this for our flats. I'm gonna up the size of the brush so that we can get it really worked out. Maybe not. Maybe a little brighter. There we go. Maybe a little brighter. I'm getting fooled too because I'm not being very smart and drawing this against white. White tends to make everything look dark around it because it's just so perfectly bright. You can't get brighter than white. So it's not the best thing for judging colors. But we have elbow room to change it later on. So I was really excited about her because she has a really cool power set. So she's a magic character, even though she looks like a brawler. She's gonna be kind of a modern version of, as I mentioned, Darna. Hey Kayla. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for popping in. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So she's got this cool power set. She's just a normal college girl. It's like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer narrative. And she... Let's see if I can find it here, actually. That's a cool story to tell. Boom. Oh, there. It's here. Great. Alright, so... That's the original Dakila. You know, she's sort of fighting with this Medusa character. I forget her name now. I gave her a really cool name, but... And then this is her, this lady. She's studying for college, Introduction to Physics. She sees a shooting star outside her window. She goes out, weird stuff happens, and then she finds the dying superhero. And it plays on all the same beats as that as the original Darna story, except in this case we're just modernizing it. Alright, so that's good. Let's throw her jeans in. Just desaturate it a little bit, something like this. Boom. All right, let's get the red up there. She's got red Converse sneakers, as I recall. And she's also got she's got this fire effect, which I'm not gonna do right now. I'm gonna wait till she has a moment in the story to kind of show off her cool fire effects. So we'll do that later. Then let's give her hair the respect it deserves. It's kind of a bluish black. It's black, but I don't want to do that because the lines are black. So we're gonna do a gray that's very deep and desaturated. Oh, it's got a bit of a bluish tint, but very, very slight. All right. There we go, starting to shape up. I'm gonna give her, probably should get her skin tone in now. That's the trickiest part. She's Filipino, she's morena, so not too light, not too dark. somewhere in between. And I can probably mess with this later in post. Just get, you know, just get the skin tone tweaked a bit. But whoops. Okay. Let's fix that. I'm gonna go into hue, saturation, brightness, and I'm gonna mess with it just to get it to the right hue. Taking note that I'm gonna throw shadows in here as well later on, so her skin's actually gonna get a little darker. That should do. I'm also gonna put highlights later, so it's gonna get a little lighter. Okay. And now one last thing, clipping mask. Let's do a white, but sort of an off-white. There we go. All right, that's done. Cool, she looks so cool. I love her. Let's do the next person. Let's do colors for her. And I'm gonna reference this. So I did a silhouette outline of her here, and that's gonna be my base for the clipping mask. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. I'm just getting my coffee, guys. All right. Back at it. Oh, interesting. When you cover the camera here, the light sensor dims the iPad screen automatically because it thinks it's we're in a dark room. Ooh, coffee. Okay, back to it. Let's color this lady. So first, I think what I'm gonna do now to make it a little easier is just throw a gray on her. That waits. I can judge the colors better. And she's very light skinned, so let's get that out of the way. It's very pale. Not much skin showing because she's a nun. Actually would make that a bit lighter, but let's get all these flats done first. Boom. All right, make it lighter, brightness up. There we go. That's more like it. I need like an off-white for this nun habit. That's what the nun uniform is called. It's called a habit. It's a really nice word. And I'm trying to make a habit of working on this book every day, even though my schedule's kind of whack. Mm-hmm. Boom. Okay, that's the white. Now I need the gold for the thing, and what I'm gonna do is give it a kind of bright orangish yellow like that. It's hard to make something look gold. You gotta combo yellow and orange and white properly. You gotta do renders. And if you want to do it in a simplified way, I think I'm gonna do it in like a 3-tone way, but I need a base that looks something like that. And I'm gonna have her sun symbol on her face to be that gold as well. So that's cool. Actually, no, this has got to be silver, so let's up it to this. And I'm gonna use that tone and make it a little darker. It's gotta be his bandana. He has this little bandana up here. You look in the book. That dude. So yeah, it's kind of silver actually. Silver, and then the bandana is yellowish. That's what we'll do. We'll make we can go a little brighter with that. And then might as well, what color should the rosary be? I think it's made of wood, so we'll do something like that. And just swoosh in. This doesn't have to be super accurate. At this zoom, this probably won't be noticeable to most people. Alright, and then the rest of her is kind of this indigo. Work on something. I used a really, I guess it's meant to be black. Yeah, it's meant to be black, and then I put like a deep indigo in the background. So that's what I'll do. I'll start with the deep indigo, and when I throw shadows in, it's gonna look black. So I'll do that. Boom. She looks so cool. I love her. And that's it. That's correct. I think. Oh, I did it wrong. Give me a sec. I should have put it on its own layer. Boom, okay. And let's delete that, because that's gotta be gray, clear. Cool. So that's her. Now we have 3 full color characters, and then we just work our way around until we get everything. So this guy is called Gigaboy, and I think I have his reference over here somewhere. There we go. That's him, Gigaboy. And he doesn't have any published comics he's in. It's actually this. I'm working on it right now. I'm not working on it right now because I'm working on this book, but this is like maybe another project for later on. That's him talking to a therapist. Her name's Sorrow. It's a cool story. It's a cool story because he's got a yeah, that's her. That's Sorrow, and you know it's a therapy story. So anyway, Gigaboy here at this point will probably be out of therapy, and I'm treating him like a Spider-Man character. So let's see. Did I export him? Let's see if I did that. Where is it? I have too much stuff. I have to organize this shit. Okay, I've lost it. I wonder if I put it in my photos. There we go. Great, it's in my photos. So let's use that as reference and go back to it. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you dizzy with all the bouncing around. So, where is his silhouette? This is his silhouette. Great. Clipping mask. Boom. Let's go with the hair first. He's a very dark character. Not just, you know, well, I don't want to spoil too much about his story, but I love his story. He's cool. Well, but what's great about this is, you know, how in superhero crossovers you meet all these characters who are swept up in the giant plot of everything, right? And there's just no time to get to know them. You just have like little hints here and there of what they're about, but there's no time for like a really in-depth character arc. At least not for most of them. And that's kind of what I want to do here as well for this story. I want to have you meet all these characters the same way like I met Superman and Batman when I first read Crisis on Infinite Earths. As just like, here's some colorful characters doing awesome, crazy stuff. And there's a lot more to them, but we don't have time because we're busy. But you can find out later on. And I just love that about crossovers. I think that's the special sauce that makes it so cool, is that it's kind of like a sample platter. You meet all these characters and maybe you're not so interested in this character, but you're more interested in that character. And you would never have known about them unless you picked up the crossover. So it's really cool. It's good for helping you discover new books and stuff. Okay. Let's get his let's get his jacket down. Actually, no, let's just get all the darker stuff down. So his sweatpants. He's just like a normal dude. So I'm treating him like in this story at least, as you meet him, he's sort of like a Spider-Man. He's just a regular dude. Kind of like Miles Morales. And so he has the most normal dialogue. Maybe he cracks a joke here and there. Maybe he feels like a little overwhelmed by all this cosmic stuff going on around him. And that makes him the everyman that people can relate to. That's a little too similar to his hair, so I'm gonna make it a little greener. There we go. I don't know if that's visible on camera, but that's what I did. I'm also kind of annoyed by this. These little white spots. I gotta do a little cleanup on these later. It's a side effect of the way I made the selections. We're not supposed to have all these artifacts, but anyway, we'll deal with it later. I'll just clean it up enough to not be driving me crazy. There we go. Anyway, his character, this thing is called Kite. And it's a part of his psyche. It's called a parapsyche. So it's a bit of his brain who which manifests itself in the real world. So that's his thing. Yozebi, am I pronouncing that right? Yozebi. What's up? Thank you for coming here. Yozebi says in the chat, who are your main art influences? I'm getting a hit of Frank Whiteley vibes. Guys, you have no idea. Look at this. See this? This is the Frank Whiteley calendar. I am a big Frank Whiteley fan. I love Frank Whiteley. He's probably in my top 3. Oh my god, he has a super cool Sandman poster here. Sandman. Watercolor. So good. Sorry. Can I show it on camera here? Look at that. We are not worthy, my friends. We are not worthy of Frank Whiteley. Look at her skin. It's like a golf ball. Anyway. I love Frank Whiteley. I would consider him one of my top 3. Honestly, my influences change weekly. It's kind of... It depends on who I'm obsessed with at the moment, but my big ones are Frank Whiteley, James Jean. Although, God, I can't even get anywhere close to the amazingness of James Jean. He's just too... he's too technically beyond me. I need to grow up to be just as good as him. So I love James Jean. And he's my wallpaper, you know. He's my wallpaper everywhere. So, James Jean forever. Who else do I love art influence-wise? I like J.H. Williams. J.H. Williams did Sandman Overture with Neil Gaiman. He also did Promethea with Alan Moore. And Batman with Grant Morrison. And Seven Soldiers. I like J.H. Williams stuff. Who else? Neil Francis Yu. He is this Filipino artist who's done a lot of Marvel comics. Big influence. I loved him back in high school. I actually met him in high school. I think I met him at Comic Quest, right? I was introduced by a friend, and I asked him for art advice, and he gave me art advice, which I still use to this day, which is that when you're in doubt about your drawing, flip it horizontally. And back then, we didn't really have, I mean, we had computers, but we weren't really using them as much for drawing. So what he was saying was like, put it up against a mirror, look at it in the mirror, but now you can easily do it. You can easily mirror your image. And I've noticed that's a really good way to sort of spot inaccuracies in your drawing. I especially have this weird habit of making the left side of things bigger than the right. So flipping it reminds me to balance things out. Yeah. Neil Francis Yu. So yeah, who have I said? James Jean, Frank Whiteley, Neil Francis Yu. I think that's it. There's more, but I don't want to like drown you in my favorite people. I could talk all day about my favorite people. I even have videos on my channel. Check out I have some videos called Artist Alert where I talk about my current favorite artists. I have one about Pepe Larraz. I have one about Lorena Alvarez. I geek out on artists all the time. I'm sure you guys do too. I worship at the altar of all these amazing artists. Thank you, Yosebi. I'm glad you think so. I didn't mean to make this so complicated, but as I got into the story, because I was planning to use like a more simplified style, honestly, to make it faster to draw because of my self-imposed October deadline. But I mean, as I got into working on the story, I just couldn't resist making it as nice as I could humanly make it. So it's taking longer, but I think it's gonna be worth it in the end. If it's gonna be this, complex. Alright, so Gigaboy is almost done. And let's get that hoodie in. So the story of this costume is really weird. I had brought a notebook to okay, wait, long story. I'll just say it because it's complicated, right? So I am not an American citizen. I'm from the Philippines, and I'm an immigrant. I moved here to the U.S. And over the past 2 years have been working on my paperwork, right? And I had an immigration interview where, if you know how these things work, when you go into the government office, they don't allow you to have any electronics. So you have to put your electronics, I think you have to put it in like a shelf or a locker somewhere. And you're supposed to wait for your interview to happen for some reason. I guess it's a security measure. But I knew this ahead of time, so you have to spend several hours at that government office while you wait for your interview. So I brought a notebook and I was sketching all these characters for Paraclassic. Just to pass the time and entertain myself. And I was really stumped on his costume and his character design when this little kid ran in front of me. I guess he was there with his mom. He was this little Indian kid. And I just looked at his mask and his hoodie, and I just thought, oh my god, that's it. Those are the colors that I need to do for this character. So shout out to that kid wherever he is, somewhere in the universe. But I stole your look. I stole your look and made it a superhero. Yeah. And then this kite character is now... So it's gotta be yellow. There's a lot of yellow in this, strangely enough. Let's color drop that there. Boom. Yeah, it's something like that. So Merge done. And I'm wondering if I change the hue of that symbol in the middle, would it look better? Would it look better as a yellow? I actually like it. Do I like it? Do you guys like it? I might change it. I might do that. I might do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. That's his. Those are his colors. Alright, so where are we? Now let's color up Germinator. Yeah, this guy has no colors. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can grab the book. Oh, here it is. Boom. Okay, so this is the Germinator. I made this book in high school. I'm gonna date myself there, but it's 20 years ago. Right. Dedicated to mom and dad. And this is his story. He's oh my god, look at that. Can you read all of that? These were like my Frank Miller style captions back then. And the plot is basically he cures cancer and AIDS, and then all these other characters don't want him. Basically, there's a geopolitical thing where, you know, pharmaceutical companies wanna keep diseases around, so they try to attack him and, you know, take him off the board, because he's cured all human disease, right? But we realize as the story progresses that he's actually, you know, he's actually made of germs, so that's why he's the Germinator. This is so dumb. I love it. So he's made of germs, so that's why he's able to cure all diseases, because, you know, he is all diseases. And he's just being friendly. So this was sort of that story. But the problem is, I don't really have a color scheme for him. I think it's green. I think he's all green and white or something like that. So I guess we'll just do that. And you'll notice I changed his costume slightly, because this is kind of what he looks like in the late stage of his story, just like Imagine None, right? I wanted to feel like some years have passed since this story came out, even though really no one's ever gonna read this story, but, you know, the few people who bought that mini comic back when I was in high school. But still, I might put it up on my website one day so people can read it. But let's just give him a base color. Let's pick something here. Something like that, maybe. I think that looks good. And I'm gonna mess with it using the hue, saturation, brightness sliders there. Maybe make him a bit darker then. Okay. And then clipping mask. I'm gonna put some. Oh my god, it's 3:30 already. Wow. I did not realize I've already been doing this for an hour. How are y'all doing? I mean, there's still a bunch of you watching, so. If you're drawing along, or you're drawing something, let me know in the chat. Actually, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I'm happy to answer. I'm gonna give him this look. And I imagine him having like, just because he's all made of germs, right? He's kind of like Swamp Thing or something. He's a non-human character. I imagine him having all sorts of crazy Akira-like body horror moves where maybe he splits apart or okay, this guy's in the way, so I'm gonna move him out. Boom. There we go. Much easier. Great. Actually, let's make this white. I guess I imagined him having a white cape in that comic, so we're gonna keep these things consistent. These are the weird sort of buckles over his. I don't know what I was thinking, but we're gonna keep them even though his design has progressed. I'm gonna see if I can fold them into something interesting here. I'm treating them more like shoulder pads or epaulets. Boom. Whoop. I didn't close the shape. Let me close that. Where are you closed? I'm not sure where I left it open. Maybe here? Yeah, okay. It was there. Great. So yeah, my thinking on him is he's like Captain Planet. Actually, he's not. He's more like Swamp Thing, really. Swamp Thing's like Captain Planet, if you think about it. Okay. And keep that there. Something like that. And I want this to also have a little white here. Boom. A little white here. And he's kind of reminding me of Maul from Wildcats. Sort of that vibe going. And we really won't see him for more than a few panels, but he's really easy to color. I love this guy. It's because he was a black and white character. He makes it really easy. It's not too complicated. Alright. Boom. And also because he's very organic and irregular, you don't need to be too precise because it actually adds to the organicness of things if you're a little imprecise. So so cool. Hasta la Germinator. Okay. That's him. And then we have this lady. She's called Nonstop. I'm not sure what color she is. I think she's just a yellow of some sort. She is also from the same story as Gigaboy, but I haven't figured out her color scheme as well as I have him. So, but she's a speedster. So, whoop, not drawing assist, clipping mask. So I'm gonna make her, I guess, maybe, what are we missing? Let's see. Green, she's gonna be green and blue. He's gonna be all the colors. He's red and white. She's red and she's primary colored basically. I guess I can make her orange and blue. Let's just make her orange and blue. Okay. That way we fill in the spectrum. Make it really feel like a rainbow. And she's missing a leg there because she is behind that Superman-like character. John Falloon in the house. What's up, sir? Welcome, welcome. John is a comic book artist. I love his stuff. We met here in New York. He writes some of the funniest, awesomest comics you've ever read. So check him out. I think he's on Instagram. Okay, let's do this. Something like that. Nope, I don't like that. But I'll finish off this flat and then mess with it in hue saturation. Boom. Alright. Let's mess with that. I think I'm gonna lower the saturation and then make it maybe that dark. Okay, much better. And now for the orange highlights. I think we are gonna go with this orange. What would look good? This orange. Or this. That's better. Okay, we'll go with that orange. And I was thinking of her as more of, you know, we've got some plainclothes characters, we have some weird, whatever she is, meta characters, sci-fi, Swamp Thing-ish. And this lady, her name's Nonstop, and she's kind of my Brian Hitch style Ultimates type character. You know, very modern and very modern outfit, kind of a very practical sportswear look to things. I wanted a speedster. I need a speedster for the story, and I mean, if you guys have read a lot of DC crossovers, you'll know that speedsters, flashes in particular, are really important to crossovers. A flash always dies, or a flash always saves the day. So she's tapped into this. I can't use the name, but I'm gonna change it to something else. She's this universe's. She taps into this universe's version of the Speed Force. I have half a mind to call it the Coffee Force. Or the Caffeine Force. Because that'd be super funny, right? Like she downs a cup of coffee every morning and then her powers just manifest. That'd be super fun. Alright. We are in business here. I think I've managed to flat most of the characters. Thank you for being with me here in this live stream as I do this work and yammer on. John says that's how my powers manifest too. Yeah, that's why I've got a cup of coffee. It's really important. I know it's almost 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but coffee, you know, coffee gets you going. It also gets your bladder going if you're not careful, so just manage your caffeine levels. All right. I like that color combo for her. It's very, it's cool. Let's see if we mess with... No, it's kind of 80s. I like that. She looks like a trapper keeper. By the way, are you guys watching Stranger Things? I mean, it's set in the 90s now. I think they're in the 90s in the latest season, but I watched the first episode the other day, and it's all the episodes are like movie length, guys. It's like, it's crazy. It's a commitment. But the first episode was so good. It was just so good. All right. So we are in good shape here. Wait. I forgot something. I gotta fix. Nonstop has these cool shoes, boot shoes things, which I'm thinking look kind of like Nikes, so I gotta make sure that reads really well. We'll see a bit of her later on. She's a little tough to draw, but mostly because of the shoes. I have to remember all the details. It's even more complicated when you get close up to it, but whatever. I love shoes. I love Nikes. I wish I could afford them. Alright, there. So she looks good. Okay, now I'm looking at it as a whole. I can start to tweak colors. Since I've separated them out into their own layers, thank God this iPad can handle that. I'm gonna start tweaking the colors a little bit to make sure they're in the right spot. So I'll do that. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I changed her a little bit. That's fine. I think the rest is more or less fine. I'm gonna flip it just to check. Let's see. Okay, so I have two more characters here. So let's get to rendering them and giving them their own thing. By the way, this is the page is gonna look a little more like that, and we're gonna have more crazy stuff going on. But let's handle this guy first. I actually sketched him out. This was a bus sketch. He's called the Painter. He's an ace artist of this universe with a cosmic color wheel and his forever brush. So, actually, I'm thinking of calling it the cosmic color palette. But he's really trippy. He's like a hippie '60s type character, and I am thinking of him as transport or something. So anyway, this is what I drew when I was drawing him without reference, but now that I have the reference, I'm gonna change him as I ink him. So we'll do that. Whoop. Let's do that. Where is the sketch? Let's lower that. Actually, I need the restroom. I'll be right back. My bladder went nuts. Sorry about that. That's what you get when you abuse the caffeine force. Okay, so the Painter he's a black guy with a beard, with like a weird mustache. So blah. Let's draw this right. So, I mean, he's so small, people probably won't see all the details, but I'm just gonna make sure it's accurate, as it's his first introduction. I'm probably gonna make his eyes glow when we get to colors, but he's got kind of like Monopoly man mustache, and then this very nicely shaped beard here, sort of Sean Connery-ish. And this character is it's based on a couple of people. We have his backstory is mainly based on my friend Atom, who is a painter, and I remember when I used to visit his apartment, he would have wall-to-wall canvases, so that's sort of the inspiration behind it. This character. Real people makeup. These things. Actually, you wonder too, how many real people inspired all these like multi-franchise superheroes that we're seeing out there. Can you imagine if like, I mean, I think the only one I can remember that's sort of historically accurate is William Moulton Marston's wife. Actually, no. Yes. His wife and his partner. This is great because it's Pride Month right now. I could probably talk about this. He was very like he was very sexually progressive back then. I think it was the 60s. I may be wrong. But he was in a throuple, basically, with his wife and another woman, who he based Wonder Woman's look off of. You can look it up. It's really cool. I think there's a whole documentary with Jude Law and everything, but just find out more about the strange creator of Wonder Woman. He also made the lie detector, which is cool. Whoop. Okay, let's get the anatomy right. He's got these big ass arms. This is a cape. Oh, I can't wait to color this guy. It's gonna be so fun to color because he's so like, he's so wild. I love him. And he's more of like I guess he's like a magic realist character, right? The story is he is sort of a struggling with, he's a struggling artist, and one day as he's meditating on this painting he's working on, he creates like the perfect combination of colors and shapes and lines on canvas to unlock this mystic dimension of abstract power. And he ends up seeing, he ends up tapping into that dimension and seeing the world for what it is, which is like a giant painting by God. And yeah, he realizes he can start editing reality by painting over things. So he finds the cosmic color palette and this brush, this forever brush. And with it he can do stuff like paint a giant eye that serves as a portal to an overdimension, which is this story. He's really important from a plot standpoint. He's like non-stop. This lady here, the speedster. You know, I don't go too much into their backstories, but mechanically speaking, very important characters in the story. I can totally draw brushes from memory. Super easy. Swoop. And how does this go here? It's a long brush. It's a long handled brush. Maybe even a rigger brush. But it's oil painting brush, yeah. Okay, that's that. This palette is a difficult shape, so I'm gonna use the same brush. Where is that? Here, Inkbox, Calty Webster. I duplicated the brush, but I changed the stabilization here to like go way up so that, you know, I can make clean shapes with it. Otherwise, you know, see how it's kind of changing my stroke? Yeah. And I'm going to use that to make this palette. Really clean. Nice. Okay. Good. Back to the non-stabilized one, because unless I'm making a really clean shape, I can't stand it. I don't like my line being corrected too much if I can help it. And it's a super nightmare if you're like if you're hatching or stippling, if you're doing like that and then it's changing your strokes, like forget about it. All right, I need the eye. Like I said, it's got kind of a Doctor Strange vibe, so that's sort of a tip of the hat to Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto. Whoop. Is my audio okay? Let me know in the chat. John mentioned a noise gate. I'm not sure if you guys are getting any extra interference there. Okay. All right. And based on the character design, I think he's just wearing feet, so that'll do the hippie vibe. There we go. I'm gonna make this a little puffier, kind of Aladdin pants. Mostly because I want to get these cool colors in. And I think it's gonna be drop pants, so it's gonna do that. Which is gonna change his mobility a bit, but it's okay. He's a character who stands around a lot. He doesn't need to tumble around like Spider-Man. Okay. Maybe his abs don't show through because it's more of material, so we'll just keep it at that. And here's the tricky part where we draw his feet in perspective. More or less, something like that. All right. Boom. Okay. Then his beautiful cloak, which is like Tiepolo, this painter that I really love, who does the best capes. He does the best capes in the world. Look him up. Tiepolo. I think he's Venetian. I'm not sure. But he does like beautiful shapes with cloth like hanging around in the air and stuff like that. I can only aspire to his greatness. I'm gonna try not to detail it too much since it's such a small part of the whole page, and I don't want it to call too much attention in an already super busy page, right? But it's gonna be nice to get some beautiful abstract cloth shapes here. Boom. All right. And then I want his fingers here, so. When I hold the palette, the pinky is under, so we'll leave it under. Okay, now this underdrawing is distracting me too much, so I'm gonna take it off. There we go. It's a little easier to read. I want this to do that. And this is gonna do that. Kind of following the contours of his pecs. There we go. Boom. All right. Whew. Tricky, tricky, tricky. And now we go to this part. I love how weird his whole costume is. It's just so, it's so great. I mean, that's the point of, I mean, for me, that's what I really like about super people, right? They're just so deeply weird on many levels that you can only get certain types of stories with them. Okay, there. Boom. Now I'm gonna change this a little bit to make it a little more 3D. When you're using this few amount of lines, you gotta make sure that the ones that do stay do the work of rendering form. Okay. So that way it sort of emphasizes the cylinder of his leg and his calf muscle over there. Let's fix this a little bit. Okay, I think we're in business. I'm gonna put some colors there on his palette, but I'll do that later. And lastly, there is, line work takes a long time. Lastly, there's this character, and she is one of this set of characters. That's her. I called her Gaia at the start. I changed it. And here's some names for other super people. But I call her Mother Earth. So, whoops. She's super cool, and we're gonna render her right now. I gotta move this stuff down, so let's do that. Too many layers now. There we go. Oh, and where is... This is the painter. Let's move him up here. Before I move on to that, let's just give the painter his own silhouette, so I know what's what. I just want to pop him off of the background, right? Whoops. Okay, let's clean that up. Put a little shadow here. Put a little shadow here. Not too much detail, as I mentioned, but just enough to give it a little extra. Okay. Okay, I gotta stop myself from over detailing this thing because he's so far back, no one will ever see all these parts. But okay, good, good, good. Man, can I up this? I'm gonna up the threshold so that it kills even more. White? Nope, that's not working. Okay. Good enough. Okay, let's work on Mother Earth. Mother Earth, and she's the last of our motley crew of characters. Let's move that down there. Don't need that anymore. This is gonna be pretty quick and easy because she is how do I say this? She's kind of like the Silver Surfer. She's one of the more abstract looking characters. So it's all about getting the good shapes in with her. She's got like big glamorous hair that turns into clouds all around her. Well, let's see if I can get that in. I need a thicker brush for this. Oop. As we do the contour. And she's got all these like Riley lines to her because she is like many superheroes. You just kind of draw her as if she were naked, and then you put the costume details after. Like when you draw the Silver Surfer, he's basically naked, and then you decide to silver him up later on. I'm trying to avoid the edge of the page. See, the bleed is here. It's so close already. I just want to fit her in, but also space her out so that she's got enough space between everyone else. It's a juggling act. Okay. Whoop. And I need him out of the way because I'm drawing under him, so boom. Great. John says, getting some quietly vibes from the Superman type guy. Yes, that is the intention. I was, yeah, I want him to feel like, I wanted to sort of like visually remind you of All-Star Superman a little bit. Because that's probably one of my favorite, it's definitely my favorite Superman story, but maybe one of my favorite superhero stories ever. It was great because I feel like growing up, I always wanted like a really, really good Superman story. Because Batman had all these super great stories, right? Always wondered why no one could do it right. And Alan Moore's Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow is a good one, but it's not quite to the level of like his other works like Watchmen or V for Vendetta. Or even his Killing Joke. His Killing Joke was like one of the best Batman stories, right? I think Whatever Happened is okay, but it doesn't it didn't age as well. But All-Star Superman definitely holds up, and it holds, I think it presents a different template to all those great Batman stories, you know, a story of something more positive. If you guys have read that and you liked it, for me, there's like an unofficial sequel to that, set in an earlier time. It's called Superman Beyond. It's this two-part Superman story by the same writer, Grant Morrison. They wrote it as part of a DC crossover event called Final Crisis. And it's got this bonkers plot where, you know, Lois Lane is dying because she was hurt in an explosion at the Daily Planet. And in order to save her, he has to go on this multi-dimensional, like, cosmic odyssey with a crew of other Supermen analogs. So you've got Shazam, Billy Batson, and his Earth 2 or Earth 1 counterpart, Ultraman. You've got a Dr. Manhattan analog called Captain Adam. And a Nazi Superman called Overman. It's really good. It's really good, really beautiful, really inspiring, and super meta. So, yeah, read that if you haven't. I think you can only read it as part of the Final Crisis collection, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. I think we're done with Mother Earth. That was super easy. I know she just looks like a naked lady, but wait until I color her. It will make sense. Whoops. Making chicken adobo in the slow cooker, and that's the bell that says it's done. I don't know why they make slow cookers with like finishing notifications that sound like fire alarms. The first time I heard that, I panicked. I was like, oh no, is the smoke detector going off? It's not. It's just the crock pot. Okay, cool. Can I get her? Where is she leaking? Okay, she's leaking out of her toe. Okay, there. Selection leak resolved. So let's get a new layer under her. Give her a silhouette. Boom. Great. And now let's do her flat colors. Whipping mask. Just so you guys can see why she's called Mother Earth. Oops. Okay, that's too big. Let's lower that. Question for you guys. When you draw, what's the longest you can go without taking any break? Let me know in the chat. I'm really curious because the other weekend I spent all day. I spent all day drawing, and it was like, my God, I think it was like 9 hours. I mean, when I say take a break, I don't mean like bathroom or anything like that. I'm talking about like, you know, taking a break to eat food or walk outside, you know, take a complete break. What's the longest you can go making your art without taking a break? Mostly though, for me, I think it's like, I can go really long, but it's not what I'd prefer. It's just getting over an hour of time to focus on making comics is such a luxury that when I have it, I go nuts. Mother Earth. And obviously she's like so Mother Earth, she's like an eco character. She's really like Captain Planet. Like, she can control the weather, she can summon the elements, she's got Storm vibes, like Aurora Monroe from the X-Men. Great, okay. So let's clear her silhouette. Clear. Unclip this, and now I need a layer of green. And actually, I want to get some reference here, so I'm gonna look up some Planet Earth references. Only because I want to get the landmass shapes right. Whoop. There we go. Okay. I have a computer in front of me. Not that it really matters, but I think it's extra cool when you can do that. And I picture these land masses to be kind of moving around her. So, like, it's always rotating. Okay, that's Mother Earth. Let's let's get the painter done. I'll just finish the flats for this guy, and then I'll probably oops, sorry about that. I'll probably have to call it a day for this stream, because I have to take that adobo out of the crock pot. That's my food for the week. I think this has to be one of the longest streams I've done ever. But it's such a complicated page, you know. It's nice to... I figured I'd want to show it. I mean, I have more complicated pages that I've done off stream. I figured I want to do one on stream, just to show you how much work goes into it. Oops, am I doing that wrong? Just fix that. There we go. I'm so excited for this book. I just want it to be done. But it won't be done till hopefully probably August at the earliest. And hopefully I finish it by then and nothing bad happens, because worst comes to worst, I need to have this done by out the door by early September. And that's the worst case scenario, because it's got to be printed in time for October. So I can't dilly-dally too long. Boom. Alright. That's that. And then he has green. Like a psychedelic green. Let's just use this green. I can probably go more saturated than this since he's a trippy character, but I'll fix it in post. John is asking, what is the page count? So when I was planning this, the page count was 48 pages. But it's gone up a bit. Now it's at 60 pages. Mostly because I hit areas of the story where things need a little more space to breathe. So I just kind of leave it. I kind of just give it that room. But I gotta watch myself. Whoops, I think I've hit my layer limit. Great, 68 layers reached. Alright, so now I'm gonna just merge down some of the layers so that I can do my layer thing. And my current pace is about 3 pages a week. It was 2 pages a week for a while, and I need to up that pace. Otherwise, I'm not going to meet the deadline. So I'm on page 22. You can do the math, right? I really have to like get this done in time. And there are people who would say that, you know, you don't want to rush it, you want it to be as nice as possible. But I also feel like when you work without any deadline, nothing happens. So, I mean, at least what works for me is giving yourself a bit of pressure, putting yourself in a situation where you just have to deliver, just so you get something done. Ideally, I would have a publisher and an editor and, you know, people paying me and relying on me to get this done, but until I get to that point, I have to be my own kind of a policeman. He looks a little like a clown. Alright, up that, and then I think a purple. Something like that, but maybe brighter. There we go. that. And yeah, John, this is gonna be like, this is for sure gonna be the longest continuing story I've ever worked on. Not counting the newspaper strip ran online, because it was sort of like, I did that over 5 years, like every week, and it's sort of a. I mean, that was, how many pages was that? That's probably like 200 or something like that. This was a weekly comic, so it doesn't count, because each installment was like every week. This one is the longest. This is for sure the longest continuing story. I'm gonna do that. Let's give it a little dimension. I want this white to kind of be an off-white. Something like that. John says, having to be accountable to someone else is always a better motivation for me than being my own policeman. I agree. It's better to have other people egging you on. I wish I had. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, right? We get to the point where we can do what we love for money, with the support of other people, and you can just keep working. I want a career in comics if I can manage it. That would just be, that's the dream. But I don't think I can. I'm sort of treating this as a portfolio piece, this whole comic. So that I can start showing editors my work, and maybe letting them know that I'm a guy who can do a long comic on my own without any help. I've noticed, at least as far as I've heard of the comic industry, editors tend to hire people who have already made comics on their own, because they've kind of proven that they can do it without prompting. So that's what this is about, proving I can do it on my own without any prompting. And maybe that way I can earn the support system I'm longing for. Whew, okay, so there is our flatted page, right? I'm gonna do more rendering on this and finish this off today. The plan is to have psychedelic colors coming out of this eye here. The main light source will be the eye, so most of these guys will be backlit, and maybe like we'll have like a two main light source color scheme. And then we'll have some glowing effects here and there. But the main work of like drawing it and putting the flats out, that's done. If you look at it in the sequence, we meet the kid, we see the comic he made for his dad, we meet the horrible, crazy character who gives him flash forwards, and then just as all hope is lost, superheroes come in the cavalry. So this has to be like a super impactful page. I've written out the next page already. Whoop, there's the letters. And I have, these are my my terribly, terribly rough layouts. So I know where I'm going next. Like, stuff's happening, there's going to be a big superhero fight. But the big establishing shot is going to be this page. So, more on this at another time. If you've lasted this long, thank you so much for drawing with me and joining me for this live stream session. Once again, I have a new Instagram. I started a new one because my old one got hacked. So please follow me, andrewdrelonart.com, at instagram.com, andrewdrelonart. There's a link in the description. I'll leave it in the description. I have like 70 followers right now. So, let's hit 100. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you, are inspired and do more art. Peace, guys.